The first college football rankings just came out and is absolutely garbage. So today I will be reacting to the top 12. I'm not going to go through all 25, that'd be too long. But I want to go over the top 12 because that's all the undefeated and one-loss teams. And I want to talk about where the College Football Playoff Committee put these teams because honestly some of this doesn't make sense and I just want to talk about it. At number 1 we got Georgia. What can you say about Georgia other than the amazing that they deserve to be number 1? I mean, you can't mess up with this pick. If you don't put Georgia number 1, honestly, I don't know who you are, personally, so. Alabama's number 2. Now, hold up. Okay? There are 4 undefeated teams under Alabama right now. Alabama has a loss. Okay? And you may say, okay, well, these undefeated teams aren't going to beat them. Maybe not, right? Maybe Alabama is the better team. But you don't go Alabama number 2 just because, their players are better. They have a loss. They lost to Texas A&M. And yes, Texas A&M is ranked, right? But at the time they weren't. And so, you gotta look at that perspective. Why is Alabama number 2 when you got a lot of these undefeated teams? I mean, 2 of them are, actually 3 of them are Power 5, and another one's Cincinnati. So, I think College Football Playoff was the first mess up with these rankings, and there's going to be another one later down the line. Actually, I think maybe 1 to 2 more on this, but yeah, this is absolutely stupid by the College Football Playoff. Like, Alabama should not be number 2 when there's teams below them that are doing a lot better and have not struggled with and lost to like Texas A&M. I mean, they struggled on the road against Florida. So, how good is Alabama this year compared to other years and compared to these teams on this list? Number 3 is a little bit of a surprise, but Michigan State is number 3. I kind of expected it, to be honest. Actually, I didn't really. I thought that, hey, if whoever wins the Michigan State game will probably go up in the rankings. I didn't predict they would go up this much, but I'll accept it. I mean, Michigan State still has to play Penn State and Ohio State, so we'll see later down the line how they do with those 2 games. They won to Michigan. We'll talk about Michigan later in this video, but as for right now, Michigan State's looking good, and who knows what will happen with Penn State and Ohio State with those games. And number 4 is Oregon. Okay, whatever. Oregon number 4 makes sense. I mean, they got an L against Ohio. They got a W against Ohio State, and so Oregon deserves to be there even if they lost to Stanford. So putting Oregon above other teams makes sense because of that big win. Number 5 is Ohio State. And I guess, I don't know, like, Ohio State hasn't looked the best this year. But they haven't looked like really bad. They lost to Oregon. Other games they haven't looked as good. Recently they've been looking a lot better. The offense has definitely been one of the best in the country, but the defense definitely still needs to work on many things. But as for Ohio State, number 5 doesn't seem that far off, but I don't know where exactly you would put them if if you were to change it, because obviously you can't move them. I would not move them above Oregon or Michigan State right at this point, especially because of Oregon winning against Ohio State. But I'd be okay if they moved down to number 6 on this list, which we will talk about here in about 3 seconds or so. So, this one is going to make me a little bit mad right here. Number 6 is Cincinnati. Now, you tell me how an undefeated team that won against was number 10 Notre Dame, which we will talk about later in this video, how they are number 6, yet a team like Alabama, who always has a loss on the schedule, like Ohio State or like Oregon, who always have a loss on the schedule, tell me how those teams are ahead of Cincinnati. Now, maybe Oregon, you can say, hey, they won to Ohio State. Okay, whatever, right? So, I don't know how you can still put Cincinnati all the way down number 6. College football is purposely trying to keep Cincinnati out at this point. Like, I can make a conspiracy video about them leaving Cincinnati out at this point, because it is so stupid how they put Cincinnati at number 6. So now, you're trying to tell me, okay, Ohio State has to beat Michigan State. Michigan State's going to have to lose to Penn State and Ohio State. Oregon's going to have to take another loss. Alabama's going to have to lose. Like, the AP poll had Cincinnati number 2 in the nation. What happened? You messed up. You messed it up. Like, Cincinnati is definitely a better team than Alabama at the moment. At least coaching-wise, as far as stuff, maybe the players aren't as talented, right? But we aren't ranking teams based on the players that they recruit. Cincinnati right now is an 8-0 team, and Alabama's a 7-1 team. Okay? And considering Cincinnati has played teams, they played Indiana. Maybe Indiana's not the best, okay? But they played them. They beat them. They go to Notre Dame. They go to Notre Dame. Number 10 in the nation right now. And they win. How can they put Cincinnati number 6 when, to be honest, some of these teams don't have that win like Cincinnati has so far, and those wins will come eventually for some of these teams, but for some of them they probably won't come, and so to put them up above Cincinnati doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm done with my tirade. So at number 7 we got Michigan. Okay, I guess. Michigan's 7-1. I feel like Michigan's going the same old way as they've always been for the past, since 2015, since John Harbaugh has been. I always get confused between John and Jim Harbaugh, but I think it's Jim Harbaugh that does Michigan. Yeah, so ever since Jim Harbaugh has been at Michigan, they've historically have lost a lot of these games. They lost since Jim Harbaugh's been there. They lost every single game against Ohio State, and then they've barely won any. They've won it off and on between Michigan State and Penn State. Their games with that. They have a losing record against those two teams since Jim Harbaugh's been there. So I think right now Michigan, they got set up. This whole Big Ten thing right now, they basically backloaded the schedule. They backloaded Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, basically. Those 4 teams, they basically backload all 4 of those teams to where they play each other the last 4 or 5 weeks. So these teams will be like 7-0, and then all of a sudden they just start playing each other, and now you got, and now all of a sudden maybe one of these teams is gonna have 2 or 3 losses by the end of it, and they won't be in the top 10. While a team may come out undefeated and will definitely probably be in the Big Ten championship, will probably win against a team of the Iowa, Wisconsin, in the Big Ten championship, and then make the way to the playoff. So, but I don't think Michigan's that team. It's really gonna be Ohio State or Michigan State who makes that run. And number 8 is Oklahoma, and welcome back to Rant Town, because this is going to be another one that I'm going to talk about with not liking where they ranked. I mean, Oklahoma's undefeated, right? They're one of the undefeated teams. Then the Power 5. They've played really good games. Like, I know that some of the games they may have won some of the unranked opponents by like a touchdown, right? But they're still in a Power 5 conference. They are playing pretty good. Okay, I know that like they're kind of playing quarterback rounds right now with how they switch quarterbacks and stuff. So it's kind of getting complicated over there with the quarterback situation. But Oklahoma's still a good team. And Oklahoma will probably, I'm guessing they're probably going to be in the college football playoff by the end of the year if the committee chooses them. I don't know, because they said number 8 right now, which is stupid. Especially if you're going to say, okay, what has Michigan done? Really? I mean, honestly, you can say, what has Ohio State done? Really? So, like, it makes no sense, but Oklahoma number 8 while they're undefeated, and they actually have decent wins against some of their opponents. They still got a few games. They still got Baylor and Oklahoma State. I get it. Don't be too high on them right now. See if they can win those 2 games and up them up from there. But I don't know if they exactly got this one correct. And number 9 is Wake Forest. And honestly, this is probably the weakest undefeated team in the top 12. All of their conference games that they play this year, I either currently have 3 losses or, now that they've been 11, now they have at least 3 losses. And all the teams that they play in the future will have 3 losses. And the only game that they played where a team has had less than 3 losses was Norfolk State, which I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest. It's not a Power 5 school, and I don't exactly know if it's a Group of 5 school. So they have 2 losses a year, but I'm guessing that's more the what they probably an easy game against like a team in another division or whatever. So Wake Forest, I guess you can say that they're a dark horse, because technically if they just went out, they'll be undefeated, and if craziness happens, they'll probably get in. I don't know how good they would be though against someone like Georgia. Definitely probably be being out pretty bad there. But Wake Forest is a dark horse, and I'm pretty interested in saying it. I guess I'm okay with them putting them number 9 right now because their resume is really like nothing. They've had no ranked wins. All their teams have at least 3 losses except for 1. That was probably the second division. So yeah, like Wake Forest, Number 10 is Notre Dame. The best one is number 18, Wisconsin, so I guess it makes sense to put them number 10. They lost to Cincinnati, so if they would have won that game, they would probably be way up there too, but not anymore. And, this just proves why Cincinnati should probably be higher than 6, but I'm not going to go back to that. So they have no other ranked opponents from here on out. So they have no other ranked opponents unless one pops up late in the season where they have probably a couple losses or whatever. In which case Notre Dame should be able to beat that team. So Notre Dame number 10, 7-1. I guess it's a pretty good pick. Number 11 and number 12 are kind of in the same position. Number 11 is Oklahoma State. They are one or two wins away from making the playoff, as long as they win out in the unranked games, the games that they expected to win. The problem is that those two games will be Oklahoma and the Big 10 and the Big 12 championship, which would either be against Oklahoma or Baylor. And then number 12 is Baylor. Same thing as Oklahoma State, though they will need to win out, plus they need Oklahoma State to lose a game, likely to Oklahoma, so that way, because Oklahoma State won against Baylor in the head-to-head matchup earlier this season. So basically Oklahoma and Baylor are basically in the same position, that they basically had to try to beat Oklahoma either once or twice, and then they gotta win the Big 12 championship either against the other team, or they gotta face Oklahoma again for the second week in a row, well, for Oklahoma State it would be the second week in a row. Baylor would just be the second time. So Baylor and Oklahoma, basically the same team. Thoughts, basically. If you're Oklahoma and Baylor, you gotta feel like, hey, we could do this. We could absolutely make a run here. If we went out, we could be looking at a win or maybe 2 wins against a team that right now is number 8 in the nation and is undefeated. So, and that is it for all the undefeated and one-loss teams in the top 25. College football playoff didn't put any one-loss teams undefeated way down the list. So they put basically all the one-loss and undefeated teams in the top 12, which would basically be your 6 bowls, with the top 4 going to the playoff. Which right now, if the playoff is right now, Oregon would be going against Georgia, and Alabama would be going against Michigan State. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe, and leave your comments down below if you guys got any thoughts. I know I had plenty of them, especially with Alabama, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma. Yeah, we will see you guys later.